we're doubling back some, and the venue should be opening in just a few minutes, in which case this line will start slowly streaming in as people start checking their wristband. I've got mine. I'm sure everyone else does already. There's also a long line of people still waiting to get their wristbands and goodie bags. So I'm feeling rather lucky that I swung by and was able to get those taken care of last night. I've uploaded earlier this morning from my haunted hotel an extended video where I talk about exactly what I'm expecting from today. So I will not be digging that much in detail about that. I'll be kicking about a little bit as we're getting going, but this is shaping up to be an interesting Citizencon. There's a lot of interesting things that are on the schedule, and there is some interesting things that aren't on the schedule. And it'll be interesting to see if things like StarSim and the new economy model are going to be somehow snuck into these other presentations, or if in fact they've decided that what they've have to show so far on StarSim, for example, isn't ready to isn't interesting enough for a Citizencon presentation, and is going to be more likely going to be part of a Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live. In which case, that's disappointing, because the economy system is important enough to have its own panel at a Citizencon. I know it sounds boring, but it is so truly essential into the game. Another interesting thing is going to see is they've been teasing an old friend of prior Citizencons arriving. There's a lot of speculation as to what that is a tease for. I'm not going to even bother to guess. I've heard some people say that it is from, it's going to be Tony Zurovic, because certainly he's been in Citizencons before, and we have not seen anything of him for a long time. But I don't think so, because frankly, the tease is in the garment and fabric panel. And if there's anything that Tony Z was going to be talking about, the least likely thing that Tony Z would be interested in is fabric and clothes. Because of my background, actually my family's background, I come from a wide family of CPAs and expert witness accounting consultants. The economy is something perhaps even more than a typical, definitely more than a typical architect, but also more than a typical content creator would be interested in pursuing. Game economics is a very fascinating thing to me. But I do not think we'll be seeing Tony Z. If they were going to bring Tony Z back from wherever he is, they would give him his own panel. He would deserve it if he's coming back. We may find out something about the current status of Mr. Zurovic, but I think it is more likely the case that his status is not yet ready to be published. People such as Disco have said that when we hear it, we will hear it from Benoit Bozinger. And that is my clue that high-level negotiations are occurring. And until those high-level negotiations are finished, we will not be hearing about Tony Zurovic at Citizencon or ISC or SC Live or on the website or anywhere else. Until whatever is going on behind the scenes with the accountants and the lawyers gets sorted out. Wild speculation here is that Tony Z, who came in very early on the project, may have been offered an equity position in CIG in order to entice him onto the project, and now they may be discussing some sort of a buyout of that. That would be the typical kind of thing that would require this degree of circumspection on the part of literally everyone at CIG. But I'm really looking forward to what the set designers have done to turn this turn-of-the-century railway station, which is if you listen to my pre-recorded videos, I'm fascinated by the late Victorian and early Edwardian architecture that I'm seeing here. A lot of which is, compared to London, you see a lot more large buildings of this style of architecture. And that was in large part was that Manchester was not completely spared by German bombers, but was at the extreme end of their range, and even more important, beyond the extreme range of the Messerschmitts and Fockas that would have been their protection. So as we know in Star Citizen, don't go into dangerous places without some fighter escort. So there's a Star Citizen tie-in, and so they were basically, to reach here, the German Retaliator bombers would have to have shed their gladiuses and arrows that would to accompany them, and have to travel a long distance in order to over hostile territory, over the British mainland, in order to get close to bombing here. And so that's a lesson to learn for Pyro. Not that they wouldn't have wanted. It's not that this wouldn't have been a target. Manchester was a major industrial center during World War II, and before and after. And so it was the headquarters of Avro airplanes. I don't know if that rings a bell, but they made the Lancaster bomber, which was Britain's premier heavy bomber. So yeah, they would have loved to have turned Manchester into a pile of bricks, but the range was too large. Manchester has been a major city for what's called the West Midlands. They're called the Midlands because they're sort of halfway between the area around London, the Thames, and the Scottish border. And a major part of, a major factor in Liverpool's ascension as an industrial complex, as I've been doing doing my usual research on everywhere and everything I'm doing. A major reason why Manchester became an industrial powerhouse was that Liverpool, where the Beatles were founded, Liverpool is actually on the coast, and they increased their dock fees. And Manchester felt they were being squeezed. And so they took a couple natural rivers and dredged them and added locks and turned them into one of the first, if not the first, major ship canal, so that the ships coming to Manchester did not have to dock at Liverpool. They could come all the way here to Manchester, well inward, and thus have a huge part of the West Midlands available readily for shipping things international to both exports and imports, which is why they were used for things like the Avro aircraft plant. And that canal still exists. It's not heavily used, but interestingly enough, they are considering reopening it and dredging it and modernizing it simply to reduce road traffic, because bringing the equipment, bringing the imports in on lorries up the highway is causing huge amounts of highway congestion. This is obviously I'm killing time here. As I said, this was a railroad station, and the railroad still runs next to it, although it was declared surplus as a railroad station some time ago. The main railroad station is called Manchester Piccadilly, which is where I caught the high-speed rail from London, from Euston Station. London has several main stations. I've seen 2 of them so far on this trip, because the high-speed train from the airport comes into Paddington Station, famous for its stuffed bears, and the what's called the northwest corridor leaves just a couple kilometers away from Euston Station, which is famous for track 9 3/4, which Harry Potter fans will know that is where you catch the train to Hogwarts. It is kind of fun here when traveling, is to see the places that are famous from fiction, and you realize that they were making nods and references to real places, real things, and real locations here. If you haven't glanced at it, this isn't likely to be very interesting for a while. So you should probably look at that video I did talking about my expectations for today. To summarize, if you don't want to look at that video, I'm expecting a snazzy sizzle reel to start with, showing us, teasing us all sorts of further planets beyond Pyro. Then they're going to jump into the second session on the rest of the first session. It's going to be on the technology behind the sizzle reel, just like they did with Star Engine, and then talk about all the details of fire, etc., in the rest of the hour after the sizzle reel for Star Engine at the start. So that's what I'm expecting. And then we're getting into the social session, which is a complete blank slate. I have no idea what that's going to be about. So that has the height of my curiosity. Cosplay, and then fabric, and then at the end of the day, they're going to bookend teasing all the future planets with talking about the actual future planets that we're going to be seeing post 4.0. And 4.0 is right upon us. I'm suspecting you're seeing other streamers, people that didn't come to Citizencon, that's been irking. There was a brief release of 4.0 to Evocati, not under NDA, so they could stream it. I would have loved, of course, to jump on and record some video, but of course my system would have required several large boxes to ship from Los Angeles to London. You can only imagine what the expense of that would have been. Overnight shipping of a couple 100 pounds of large boxes adequately protected. So that will unfortunately not be a feature of my channel. But I do plan when I get back to start, as Evocati continues on 4.0, which I do still expect there to be a lot of work still to be done on 4.0. Really rather surprised that they were taking off an NDA. I'm sure they wouldn't have if it wasn't for Citizencon. But it was released under a 4-server, 250 player count, and based on prior meshing tests, that is a pretty stable build. So they were cautious about it. I'm sure the rest of Evocati on 4.0 is going to be concentrating on getting similar stability as close as they can to that 1,000 user target. It's pretty clear that 1,000 users per shard is their eventual goal for being release worthy on 4.0. Whether they'll reach or not, but there's going to be stability testing. They're going to widen open, of course, testing of missions and other technology. But I think the people that were skeptical about 4.0 being released in 2024, I think that it's time for them to kind of release some of their skepticism. Because if it's an Evocati and willing to be shown without NDA in mid-October, they can make a Christmas release. I mean, I've seen releases in far worse shape than this in Evocati still make it to release in 3 or 4 weeks. And so definitely it will be, we will be seeing 4.0. My anticipation is before Christmas, maybe after, right after IAE, depending on when they decide to announce pre-sales. That's the other thing that I'm expecting they're going to be talking about, whether they're going to be, that they will be announcing pre-sales of Squadron 42. So I will think that they will bookend the IAE Expo with one, let's say, Squadron 42 pre-releases at the start of the IAE and 4.0 to live at just after the IAE, which makes sense. They usually have a free fly during and after the IAE, particularly after. And so they will be probably, I suspect that because of the sensitivity of people seeing ships for the first time, that they will be having them try out their new ships still in 3.24.2 and maybe 3.24.3 if they need to make a new release just to add yet another ship. And then they're going to, right after it, let you move all your new cool tools into the new release. I suspect that Pyro, for existing backers, for the foreseeable future, will be an option to set as your home city. That has been pretty much confirmed to me by someone at CIG. I suspect eventually, though, by the time they've got 4 or 5 or 6 systems, that it's actually bad form to make a system as rough as Pyro to be a place to dump literally brand new players. So I suspect eventually only people who've met some sort of pre-criteria, how long they've been a backer, etc., will be allowed to select a system like Pyro as their home city to start the game. But that everyone else, someone who's really still trailing the packing peanuts out of the box, is going to be looking at being able to select between systems like Ellis and Terra and Stanton as their 3 choices. Maybe those, not exactly those, but systems like that will be your initial options as a beginner player, because those are beginner player friendly. And frankly, I expect that they're going to be even more beginner friendly than they are now, because up to this point, Stanton has had to been something for everybody. That it had to be a place where people who would have rather been in Pyro can have things to do in Stanton. And so you had Outlaw Outposts, and you had Grim Hex, and you had the ability to turn off the law system. Think about it, it's kind of silly. But when Pyro gets established, I think a lot of those things are going to get adjusted, and Stanton will be made, in general, a safer place. And the people that want a more dangerous place, they'll say, well, hey, here's the door, go to Pyro, and have fun, which they will. So I think that before now and 4.0 going live, we're going to see individuals, and especially orgs, try to decide, am I going to make Pyro my home, or our home? Are we a Pyro org? Am I a Pyro player? Now, if you're a huge org, I don't know, Test Squadron or something, They can be both. But if you're in an org with that on a good day can put together a dozen players, you're probably going to be in a situation where you're going to want to just start to go to your Discord, sit down and say, when 4.0 launches, are we going to all congregate in Pyro, or are we going to congregate in Stanton? And then in addition, you will probably have to decide, either as an individual or which of the two main Pyro factions that are available to players, because we have the Citizens for Prosperity, also known as Citizens for Pyro faction, and we have the Headhunters faction. Those will be the two primary factions that will be creating content, creating PvP content, based content. And so you'll have to decide whether you're going to try to build a reputation with one or with the other. And that's going to be an interesting choice. And I obviously can't say. I'm going to give a good look, another shout out to my See You at Citizencon sponsors. I did promise I would sell a bit of my body. I decided instead to sell a bit of my hat, because when I realized what was visible when I was doing the streaming, it was all hat and no jacket. Anyhow, it's looking like I'm expecting this line to get moving pretty soon. Again, hello to all of you. Getting a little higher in the user count. Anyone have any questions? Anything you want to talk about? See if we have time. I'm going to give you a good view all around here.
That's hilarious.
So as I said, this is the way up there. We're at the end of the building here. That's the front. And so this line goes all the way to the front, all the way across, and then about halfway back to where the actual door is. And as you see, the line itself is doubling back 3 times. So I think if they actually let it go all the way around the building, which it looks like they just simply can't, this line will more than completely enclose, surround a fairly decent-sized convention center. This thing here, my guess is it's a sculpture disguising a vent stack. There are tunnels, and tunnels need ventilation, and you want the ventilation to come up high enough that you're not pulling in air that's already dirty from automobiles. So,
some operator on there.
I'm excited for base building. Yes, but I'm also more curious because of my professional background. I want to see a base building system where you've got, for lack of a better term, that guy who's an architect, that guy that's a civil engineer, that guy that is a landscaper, that guy that just knows, has that second sense for designing a place, that you can use that guy to design your org space or your personal base, and then you just execute. Because I would love to be designing bases for other people. I think Morph, I don't want to speak for others, but I think Morph would love to design bases for others, and others would like to have a Morph design base. What surprises do I want to see? I want to really see what's happening in the second session about social. And because that right now, there's so little been so little definitively that's been teased about it that pretty much anything's going to be a surprise. We do know for base building that they are going to be announcing or discussing at least 2 specific ships that are specifically for base building. And they are, the one that's been leaked is sort of a large pickup truck for bringing supplies to the construction site. But they teased that it was the companion vehicle for another vehicle. And so they haven't said anything about that other vehicle, but obviously they are saying that other vehicle in the same line exists. So I believe there's going to be a small vehicle-based construction vehicle, and that beyond that, we're going to apparently the Galaxy. I think it is the Galaxy. Is the large base building ship, and then the capital size base building ship is the Pioneer, and the Pioneer is going to be a capital size one. It's going to be interesting to see the niches for each one of those, and they have to make a niche for each one because they've sold them. They're boxed in that for some reason or other they have to have a role for the Pioneer, or all the people that chunk down big money for the Pioneer are going to be seriously put out. Do you think we'll get a Squadron 42 release date? We will not get a firm Squadron 42 release date. We will get, I believe, at the end of the day today, a date for the opening of pre-sales. Okay? Because that's the next step. You don't go from, we're almost done with this, to, you can buy it tomorrow. You can buy it on this day. The game industry is built around pre-sales. And it might be built around a preview. A lot of games do this. But it would be super cool if there was some provision that you could download let's say the first mission as a free sample. We might see that. The only thing we're going to see, I think, at the end of the day, is an announcement of pre-sales, and announcement of the first DLC that will come after it goes live. And I think you all heard the term Soul Singer, and my belief is that is the product name of the first DLC. So we will see that. And we may see an actual playable demo covering, say, character creation and the first mission. Just enough, of course, to keep everybody salivating. And it's going to be interesting. Squadron 42 represents a return to linear storyline interactive movies, which is the genre that Chris Roberts created in his later Wing Commander series, and which we haven't seen very many examples of. So this is, you might think of Squadron 42 as the revival of the Wing Commander series. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see exactly how electric the audience will be, because in the Wing Commander series, you were there with Mark Hamill, but you were watching it on a screen during a cutscene that they created with blue screen techniques. Your point of view was fixed. Was going to be really amazing. about Squadron 42 is that we now have real-time 3D environments in games, and so you won't just be sitting there
I don't even know what it is.
watching a cutscene that has favorite actors in it, famous actors, and good actors in it, but you'll actually be in the scene, be able to walk around, look at it from different angles, have them react to how you move. That's been done in other games recently, but at a cinematic quality. It's that's the part that's going to be special about Squadron 42. To really finally get Chris Roberts' dreams of being in the movie with Luke Skywalker, and actually being able to do it while Luke Skywalker still Luke Skywalker, right? While it's still Mark Hamill. So. It's going to be interesting to see what they say about Squadron 42. I mean, a lot of people say that they're just here for Star Citizen for the MMO. And, you know, I have to probably say that it is what I'm principally here for, too. But that doesn't mean that Squadron can't be both something very compelling and a great moneymaker. I think Squadron and the prospect of further Squadron DLCs is going to quash a lot of the fear-mongering about how CIG is going to run out of money, which is, you know, I'm not saying it couldn't ever happen. A lot of great companies have folded, gone from major corporations to nothing. But I've even worked for one. But I would say no more for CIG as a lot of other companies. I mean, I worked for a mini computer company that went from being on the Fortune 500 to not existing in a matter of about 18 months. And so saying that some company can never fail is a hard lesson that I've learned to never do again. Anyhow, it looks like the line is starting to move. Although what you're seeing behind you are not people moving to get into the building. There are people moving to the back of the line. So we are still not moving forward. Although we should be getting very close to the actual venue opening time. Let me check my watch here. Excuse me. Yeah, in fact, we're a half hour after venue opening time. So we make the whole event may be running long. I'm able to kind of peek in the door there. Yeah, there are no people yet inside of it.
Very cathartic. I love relaxing the mind. It's a weird thing. All the changes that they've made. Yeah, 4.2 dropped. I think it was a Zane.
No. They're using a wristband system, so my ticket is definitely with me. It took quite an effort to take a shower this morning, though. I had to squeeze the ticket off my wrist and then squeeze it back on. But there's no way I'm being separated from my ticket accidentally. And I got another peek inside. Definitely the inside appears empty still. There's a door and occasional employees are coming out for like a baby break or something.
Well, he came up with a good idea for the C2 for the longest time, and that worked out great. Yeah, the lunchbox. Yeah. Snacks.
We should do this tutorial. It's so great.
Is it? No.
Do the tutorial. I'm like, I'm just going to do this. You know, I'm going to. There's like 17 things, right? I did 16, got to 17. You're not same box. You're in the game. So I'm not even that's on Pisces. Yeah, no. That's not a little bit. That's a Pisces. All you have to do is land stuff.
What was the event? All you have to do is land.
That was what was going on.
They had her landing. I'm going to get that.
All of a sudden, he's like, perfect. He's like, oh, just
I saw a couple Mandalorian types a moment ago. I haven't seen many other cosplays. A lot of people with themed jackets and shirts and stuff, but I don't think you want to sit out in this weather with a serious cosplay costume. Even I brought my umbrella in case I need to protect the Panama hat, because didn't want that to get wet. It was raining earlier today, but now it's just cloudy. Typical British. Light showers interspersed with large portions of overcast. It actually reminds me of the best piece of British humor I ever saw. Oh, we got some movement going. The best piece of British humor I ever experienced. I was here on a software installation and training job. I had a couple weekends in London. One time I visited London before, during my work career. And we were on Fleet Street, which is the major business and accounting center. And I was taking them, we're going to go to lunch. And so they want to take me to a genuine London pub. I wanted to go to a genuine London pub. And the genuine London pub had a back patio. And it was a day much like this. Comfortable in a jacket. But this was like June. And it was still like this. And so we were out on this patio, and they had one of those, propane heaters. And quite suddenly, the clouds dispersed. They parted. And it got, the sun came out, it got kind of balmy. And it was starting to, we took off our jackets, and the waitress came out. She turned off the propane heater, and we were quite enjoying ourselves. And then before lunch was over, the clouds closed back in. It got kind of chilly. We put our jackets back on. The waitress came out and turned back on the propane light. And my one British companion turned to the other and said, "Well, looks like something happened on the Tuesday this year." And that was what I thought a classic piece of British humor. It had all components.
Where do you live now? Okay.
That's
So that's one of my favorite, my favorite memories of London in general, not just on this trip. London is a great city, very walkable. Manchester is very much like
city boy over here.
bustling street life, lots of activity. I elected not to go to the street takeover, even though it was right outside my hotel room. because tickets sold out, and I wanted to produce a video and get a good night's sleep, and I did both. Yeah, everyone does that. Everyone thinks I am. They hear a deep bass voice, and they think, this guy sounds like, James Earl Jones or whoever, and so ergo he must have the same skin color. A weird stereotype. There's been lots of famous bass voices that were not hello. Leon Rockbottom, Britton Fell. You'll see it. There's plenty of them around. Tennessee Ernie Ford, a favorite of mine when I was just a child. So, yeah. Actually, I'm not sure so much as the weather changes all that rapidly. But it has its patterns. Sometimes, as I said, you get a little break in the clouds. But say hi to the folks.
Highlander?
Yeah, Highlander Loop.
I'm on aileron.
Well, we had a little bit of movement.
Right behind us. Like we could
Like
walk.
they were letting the line advance towards the door. I suspect what's going on is that the line to collect new badges this morning
A little clothesline and just
blocks
memos on it.
the ability for it's a single-threaded door, just two doors wide, and so they couldn't be letting some people in while other people were still in line right in front to get their passes, and so they pretty much had to wait till that line was clear before they let us get in
At the back of our property, there is 3
by ourselves.
No, it was like
So we are currently a half hour
cars sitting there.
behind.
You can see a red Porsche and
I do not think it will. My estimate is that the whole show is going to be an hour offset because it's 9:30 now
So you're in the new.
and it's past 9:30. If my clock is right, it's past 9:30 now, and so let me check my watch.
That's funny. That is funny. But yeah.
Local time is 9:39, so we're actually 40 minutes late. Oh, thank you.
Nice.
He'll stand back there with his phone.
So we're 40 minutes late now, and we haven't even got to the front. So I suspect that we aren't going to be getting into the facility until 10 at least, and then all the people have to get in, Ray and they have to get set up. So they might start their live stream at 10 o'clock in 20 minutes, but they won't have anything to show yet. So I suspect that the whole event is going to be offset by about an hour. Because honestly, 9:40, I would have expected most of us would be inside rather than most of us still being outside. And I think it is actually a problem at the door.
Right in our backyard. You can walk through our yard. We'll just do a little path.
In terms of cosplay,
We'll
make a path. It'll be great.
I did see a guy that had stuck a paper cone on top of a white helmet and was cosplaying a Pico. Over there is if I can get it high up. There's a couple of people that have reverse engineered their Mandalorian costume into being a little more Star Citizen-y. I suspect they use the same minor modifications of the same costume at several different conventions, but that's okay.
We had a guy come by, clear record of all this in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't do test streams. I mean, you want to be sure actually, I've done test streams. I did a test stream at home that was rather disastrous. I did, I did a couple streams yesterday. I did one stream and one edited video yesterday, which went well enough, but I was regarding them as test streams for today. Hope my battery lasts until we get in. Actually, I've got a power pack. It should be okay. One of the lessons I learned from last time. Have a power pack. Are you talking about the front of the line? Maybe so. But the people that you see walking behind me are not. They're still going to the back of the line. That group of people are people moving to get to the back of the line. When I first arrived here, there was only one line and not 1, 2, 3, 4 lines zigzagging back and forth. This facility is going to be pretty crowded when we all get in. But literally there is no way that they're going to be able to get this many people into the facility and be able to pick their chairs and be ready for the first talk to go off on time. So they're probably at present calculating the start times of everything else and informing everyone in the green room. But this is a good example of why sometimes you don't know how a system is going to fail until you test it at full user load. So I'm sure they had this whole planned out that we'd have this line and this line and this line, and then we would run the line this way. And they didn't realize that there'd be a bottleneck at the door until it goes live. Just like Star Citizen. It worked well. It worked well on paper. It worked well in their limited tests, but it doesn't scale. But this is too good of a day to let it be spoiled by having, it's a 3.18 Citizencon edition. That's what this is. But again, sometimes sometimes Star Citizen is a good training ground for life, because things will not work as you expect them to, for reasons that you did not expect them to. But you can have fun anyway.
They had to change the street with this concave around. Cats were nesting in there because it was
So we'll just take it in. I haven't yet had any opportunities on this trip for sampling great local cuisine, but of course, great British cuisine is not something often to be found. I've seen almost every. I saw a burrito place, and I was wondering, do they know how to make a good burrito here? Because that takes a certain amount of, for lack of a better term, heritage. I once went to a El Torito in Boston, and they had all the right ingredients, but they did not know how to put them together. I also went to New York, and I was doing work in New York, and there was a place in New York called California Burrito. And just out of perverse curiosity, I went to California Burrito in New York, and they had a chicken burrito that used canned chicken. if you're from a place where burritos are known, you know what a travesty it would be to make a chicken burrito out of canned chicken. So I came back to the accountants I was working with, and they said, well, how is the California burrito? And I said, well, if you ever go to Los Angeles and you see a place that says New York Deli in Los Angeles, don't go there. Because I was sort of my impression of California burrito in New York. I doubt it still exists. It was a business that had no idea of what it was they were trying to feed people. Yeah. From that same London trip, when I was working for a consultant, we were going to go out for dinner. And they said, hey, there's a new pub that just opened. It's the latest thing. It's an Australian pub. And I looked at them and said, do you realize, of course, that the rest of the world is trying desperately and utterly failing at achieving the ambience of a London pub? And you're going to Australian pubs? Yes, the shadiest looking food truck. Either that or street vendor. And Los Angeles has seen in the last few years an explosion of street vendors selling beera and chalupas and pupusas, a whole range of Southern and Central American cuisine. And they are good. Always the best ones. Gungan people that have lived their whole lives perfecting that cuisine. I did yesterday have what was called a Cornish pie. Picked one up at the Houston train station. And it's basically a folded pastry with food inside. In the case of one I bought, chicken and mushrooms. So I guess that would count as a bit of British cuisine on this trip. But it is interesting. They are going to have a food court once you're past the door, and I suspect they're going to be trying to replicate Dockside. So we will probably have a noodle place. Trying to be a noodle place, and a pizza place trying to be the pizza place. I've always found it amazing that the one thing you can't buy at the pizza place in Star Citizen is pizza. They sell everything. They sell other things, but you can't actually eat and buy a slice of pizza at the pizza place in Star Citizen. The other thing that's completely befuddled me after all these years, literally, is why the Big Benny's machines are non-functional. Why the Pips machines are non-functional. We certainly have the ability to buy things from fixed stands. They could have probably, even as someone's entry project to make the Big Benny's machines and the Pips machines actually vend. Yeah, well, but actually, what a lot of people didn't realize is that a lot of these things are really connected. At the last Citizencon, when they showed the water deforming, what I don't think a lot of people realized was that was a knock-on from getting deformed fabrics. Because it's basically the same thing. It's a deformable surface with a measure of elasticity. And so if you solve the problem of bed sheets, you are, 3/4 of the way of solving the problem of water and solving the problem of fabric and solving the problem of pizza. But yes, it is true that they probably would not put pizza in the game unless you could do a genuine New York fold on the crust. But if they've got deformable fabric technology, deformable pizza is really from a technology standpoint, the same thing. Oh yeah, of course, when the pizza hits the bed, they have to make believable grease stain technology. But they're actually probably pretty close to that too. We do have the ability to have damage states. You could probably have a damage state for your bed sheet for when the pizza hits it.
Then she does industrial sewing. She has an embroidery machine. She's got all the stuff.
I see you, you see me.
Then she's got finance. It's a whole thing. She got
Collects professions in the book?
No, well, she does.
She trying to have an infinity gauntlet of the whole thing.
Nice rig they had. I hope I got them on camera. Yeah, cinema screens, picture in picture, they've had and taken out and put back in. So they have that technology. What they don't have is being efficient enough. I suspect what they may be doing is now they got the technology good, is that we may see advertising screens in Star Citizen that use building blocks technology, because they've got that now pretty well optimized. As you know, they now have all the kiosks in building blocks. They have all of our MFDs now in building blocks. So they might be doing vending machines using building blocks. Easy enough way to do it. Well, we've had some movement, but then we're stopped again. So I suspect they've allowed the entry line to move to the front door. Now, one thing I saw yesterday is that they had metal detectors. I don't know how all this gear I am holding in order to do the streaming is going to interact with the because I've got my GoPro camera, my regular camera, my umbrella, my anyhow, a whole range of things would set off a metal detector. So if they're going to expect all these people to go through a metal detector, we're going to be far more than 1 hour late. But the speed we're moving may indicate that they're not going to be expecting everyone to go through the metal detector seriously, like this was at the airport. Because if this was an airport line this long, we're missing our flight. Yesterday they were, so I think they may have had the metal detector sensitivity set at its minimum level. Almost like, well, if you're not if you're carrying an AK, we will stop you. But little things, they probably had its sensitivity set to the 0 setting, more the appearance of a metal detector than in fact. But even that acts as a deterrent. So we're pushing up to almost an hour on this stream. I hope I'm kind of exhausted. Most of what I had stored up in my head is things to talk about before we actually see the inside. Yeah. Could you imagine if at Port Trust or someplace, in order to get through security, you had to take off your shoes and open your laptop bag and have them pat you down and go through the circular security door? I would certainly hope by the 30th century, they've figured out a better way to check you for weapons. But clearly the intent is to do that, to have to replace the idea of an armistice zone with an area that you have to leave your weapons at the door. It'll be cool if they do that, a way that they can get away from the artificial limitation of armistice zones. Yeah, I don't think one of the things that's going to be interesting tomorrow is that they are going to say what is, and by implication isn't, in Star Citizen 1.0. And it'll be good to have that in a line in the sand. I will still be speculating about how to do things and what might be included in 1.1 or 1.2. The thing to understand about MMOs is that they're never truly finished. The problem, though, is that Chris Roberts said a lot of stretch goals were worded with the words "upon release." And so, anything that was in those stretch goals that said "upon release," somebody's going to be getting their panties in a bunch. If that exact thing isn't in the 1.0 specifications. And at some point, CIG is just going to have to bite the bullet on that. They're going to have to say, yeah, life has changed, times have changed, technology has changed. We're meeting it in principle, if not literally, which will please absolutely nobody among the haters.
I just needed him to escort it this way.
Official cranky lady of Citizencon. Okay, so that's what they're doing. Folks to my left are still waiting to get their badges. But I've got my wristband. But they aren't going to start probably the first session until these people have had a chance to get registered and get in the facility. So we're going to be running quite a distance late. So you may want to make that part of your expectations. Now, all these people did not get their cards and their wristbands yesterday. And as you see, we're in the courtyard area. And so we're at this point a single line, but all these other lines are still people trying to get their wristbands. And it was really only by chance they did not publicize that wristbands could be picked up last night. I only learned that sort of by accident. And I feel lucky that I did. These people, like me, have their wristbands already.
And he's showing it to me, and I'm just like, that looks like a really remember, I'm in the right place, and this is $12,000 in 2 months. I'm just... Yeah, we had really on for that thing.
Yeah, our finance guy, he's so old school. He's a retired teacher. But he's funny video. So not
Oh, hi, buddy. Hey. Got a bit of a glance inside of Exchange Hall, and it did not look like they were set up with computers in there. I may be wrong. There you go. Yep. I got the best man. I'm going in. We're going in. Wish us luck. I did not set off the metal detector. That thing has to be the next closest thing off. I mean, this hat is full of magnets. That would set any really serious metal detector completely bonkers. So here we are. So let's take you around here quickly. Okay, that is the merch area. You can see how people are already lined up, completely filling the zigzag line up to the merch table and starting to flow over. Then to the left of the merch table. Okay, let's show you a couple other things here. We have this full size. This is amazing. A full size, I hope that would look good here. I turned the camera away from myself. This is a full size model of good old Port Olisar. So that will trigger many memories for those of you who remember the days of Port Olisar. Here we have
close-up pictures. Do not touch the model, please. Close-up pictures, everyone. Do not touch the model.
One to 500 scale, Retribution class dreadnought. This is an amazing. That's got a lot of. I imagine that. Yeah, I'm ready. I can only imagine that this was done with a lot of 3D printing. I can imagine the spools that were necessary, that were poured through to get to this point. Continuing around. We have an Elroy's espresso bar. Let's look at the other food booths. Not all of which are functioning, but some of them are. here we are. Torpedo burritos. Stop a crime. Burrito time. And then at the end of this long and very slow moving line, we have the merch table. I'm going to just try to sneak around the side and get a view of some of the merch. These are the new Picos. That is the new Bengal class desk mat. Other shirts and stuff. I think you might be able to see in there the metal set decals.
Can you turn it, please? Thank you.
I haven't had breakfast, so I will probably be at some point in time visiting the food booth. I'll be looking closely to see if sometime I can get to the merch table. But as slow as the merch line is moving, they're going to have to put off. Hey. Okay. Hey.
Industry theme state.
So it's cool. I definitely am peckish for the what's that?
The nacho, grande nacho.
Grande nachos from Torpedo Burrito.
Yeah.
Are they good?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. Actually, the food does look good. So kudos to them for also having pizza nachos is a good move because they're very quick to produce. And when you're trying to move a lot of feed a lot of people, prep time is important.
Yeah, I see.
But this is looking cool. And I haven't even gotten into the room yet. I'm not sure we're even allowed into the rooms yet, but I'm enjoying the lobby too much.
Sorry.
No problem. All right. So let's keep moving. And I'm going to see if we can get into the main hall.
And the length of time while on the toilet, there have been several reports of 14 individuals on the panel. That's right, 14 have failed to meet.
Hopefully that gets you an idea of the scope of the place.
I gotta say.
Let's see if we can actually get in yet.
Please help me, that's how I think.
These are the community booths, which I will probably be taking us through them at some point in time in the future. But let's move on with the dramatic music swelling to what we've all been seeing on the floor plan. Introducing.
As a friendly reminder, please refrain from abandoning the medical gowns outside the medical bay entrance.
Hornet Mark II.
Brief checks, unsure what the role you will
And no, they are not letting anyone anywhere near it.
Red tag GTS 59402. Please move your ship. You are parked in an active loading zone.
Citizencon.
Excuse me while I adjust the selfie stick here a bit. Get it nice and tight. %100% scale?
Maybe.
Caution! Engine test in progress.
I've been told this is 66% scale.
Engine test completed.
Well, that was an impressive light show. So again, this is a 2/3 scale Hornet Mark II. Definitely impressive. I tell you, those Gatlings look like they certainly could be full scale, but they aren't. Let's see if they've got the doors to the actual seating area ready yet to be opened.
Double check that your suit and helmet are secure. Safety is our top priority.
Okay, what were the two additional bars in the VIP area. It looks like one of them is walking down a hallway here. And here is going to be the main event space. Where once we get going, we will be spending most of our day. Space worthy of an impressive show, both in the hall and out. I'm going to make a little bit more of a walk around the main area since it looks like we still got plenty of time. Do not try to set your clocks. Things are running on CIG time. They are not meeting originally a promised release dates. Hopefully, they won't be telling us. It'll be 2 years from now.
The Bengal class carrier from RSI is one of the hallmarks of the UEE Navy. Home to multiple squadrons and capable of long-term deployments, Bengals are able to rapidly respond to threats and provide a bastion of offensive and defensive capabilities against small and capital
Here is the
ships.
canteen area. Here are sim pits. They are running Arena Commander on these sim pits. Be interesting to see the details. I definitely recognize BKB joysticks, but I would be curious as to the
Please visit
parts list.
to reclaim your device.
I'm the voice behind Ray's guy. Yes. Do we have a parts list on this?
That for that, I would ask Oliver, who is behind you. That's
Hello.
Hi. Do you have a parts list on these sim pits?
No.
Oh, okay. I recognize some of the components. These are the high-end seats they've been selling on the website. Bit out of my range. There's a number of things I'm looking forward to adding to my hardware. But an expensive gaming chair is one of them, if for no other reason than I use a stand-up desk. And so a fancy regular high chair is a waste of time, waste of money. Now, if they made them those chairs with a stool height base, then I would be interested. But I guess early in my life, I got used to working on a drafting stool, and that's what I feel comfortable working at. I feel working at a drafting table height surface with a drafting stool. And so even though it's been ages since I've actually used pencil and paper to create drawings, it's just a feeling of how you feel comfortable working. This is the VIP area, which I am cleared for. So some comfy chairs.
Fun fact, with the volume of personnel needed to crew an active Bengal and the length of time while on deployment, there have been several reports of sporting leagues being organised on the carrier. That's right, full teams with playoffs and even t-shirts have played entire seasons while on the drift.
So at the other end, there was a coffee bar. So we can get more adult beverages down at this end of the VIP area. But actually what I think is going to be one of my more favorite spots oh, the lighting's not good, but
Please refrain from
a nice sound absorbing
outside the medical bay entrance.
So let's see, how's our time going? It's 10:25. Herman Miller does have a raised air-on. I'm using a raised air-on like unfortunately, I would get used it. I've procured used air-ons for a lot of friends. They just love them. But because they're so rare, raised air-ons are harder to get. And if you're not familiar, the air-on chair is a Herman Miller product. It was the first super ergonomic mesh back chair and has been popular in high-tech circles for decades now. And it's really rather funny. You'll see startup companies have card tables and fold-up tables that they're putting their computers on, but will have $1,000 air-on chairs in front of them because it's simply so important to not have people leaving early with aching backs. So air-on chairs is usually the first luxury purchase that a startup game company will make. They will be going to cheap computers that they bought at, they built themselves, and counter tables that they got at folding tables that they got at Costco. But they will spend money on a Herman Miller chair because they know that they got to keep those programmers' butts in the chair in front of the computer.
The UEE and High Command welcomes you to 2954 Citizencon.
I would move into the hall more permanently, but there's no indication that we're ready to start with the actual panels. As soon as there is, I'll move in and find a chair. I'm not really necessarily looking to be sitting up front because I got to get in and out faster than most folks in order to do the content. We have some panels on, this is in the so-called VIP area. These panels cover history, recent history.
All the space stations, and then they needed to put the exact same amount of work in
of the UEE. Nicely done. I must say I liked
The UEE Navy is always on the lookout for new talent. Contact your local recruiter
thing they did
today
at
and start your next adventure.
Citizencon in Los Angeles, checkpoint station. But this is in its own theme, done just as well. Morph?
Yes, that's me.
Danny Raymond.
Hi, nice
Great
to meet
guy.
you. Oh, I know your voice so well. You're great content, man.
Yeah, the two architects are finally side by side, separated by actually the whole diameter of the Earth, between me coming from Los Angeles and you coming from Taiwan.
Yeah, from Taiwan, 24-hour flight total. I mean, it's layover.
Where was your layover?
Istanbul.
Istanbul. Did you get a chance to spend some time there?
No, like it was only like a 4-hour layover. When I go back, I'll be there for a day. So
Definitely spend it. I've been to Istanbul once. Got to see the Hagia Sophia. Got to see the Blue Mosque. There are some amazing things there. What's your favorite thing you're looking for?
absolutely like Squadron 42, like the release date, and then 1.0. And I got good information. This first panel is going to be really, really good.
I'm guessing they're going to start with a sizzle reel, just like they did last year.
It's going to be there's going to be the keynote, and then there's going to be something from the Planet team, and that's going to be really, really excellent. It's going to kind of answer some questions about the future of Star Citizen, I think.
Okay, what was your source for that information? Little bird told you.
I don't know.
Little Pico told you.
Little Pico told me, I think.
I wish I had little Picos telling me things, but you've been around longer.
Should be exciting.
Yes.
Looks like if people are around.
We're hearing cheers. That may be something finally happening.
I mean, because it was supposed to start at 11, right? But at 11,
Notice to all personnel.
Finally had a chance to meet more.
In any airlock, double check that your student helmet is secure. Safety is our top priority.
I don't think so.
People are starting to head towards the theater, but I'm going to actually use that as a chance before we go in to give you a quick run down the aisle of the community booths. Which again, I'll probably be covering in more detail in a minute. Perhaps not so much in a minute, but between other sessions. Great list of Anvil Aerospace scale models. All right, so let's do a quick run down the community booth area, which will make a wrap on the pre-opening event.
Is that race guide?
Yes, hello. Okay. This is the CIG props team. They are going to be making the developed live in-game digital goodies. JRDF models over here. Org booth for Nova Intergalactic. couple more org boosts. Polaka's workshop. They do model painting. Hey! Continuing on. The Bar Citizens booth. Test Squadron. Tom Beckenhauser, the merchantman. Probably the closest any of us is going to get to seeing a merchantman for a while. Atlas Defense Industries. I am actually distantly related to someone who says they're from Atlas Defense Industry. My son's wife's sister's husband. I don't know what that makes him, but he's apparently with Atlas Defense Industries. He's involved with especially agriculture in Oregon. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Mongol squad here.
Caution, caution, engine test in progress.
Famous for their PvP content. New creations. Apple Esports. Again, content creators make the good stuff.
Engine test completed.
Over here we have med runners.
Yes, unless you happen to be stranded immediately outside. If you're stranded, if you are injured, you are at risk of getting
Black Star Industries. Correction, Black Star Initiative. large model here in this booth. Imperium. And standing like Zeus, looking down upon his minions, is the Jared.
Sorry, last week's through.
And that's how the sausage gets made. It's whatever we make it.
More than shit.
Brown vehicle.
Grand Vehicle Showcase. We're not talking. Citizencon is our annual showcase. All of our check that out. Everybody getting together, playing with friends, but I'll just say it's the sequel. The presentation he did 2 years ago was done, and back when we get that, I guess it's
Still being cagey about it.
Basically bringing high function to high fashion to the university. And then, as we said, something on the website, return old friends of the past. Yes, already. It's here. And then finally, beyond Cairo, where Mr. Missy weeks ago, that we will move content in Citizencon. Guess what? There's no 4.0 content in Citizencon. We're all beyond 4.0 this year. We're going to take a 15-minute break after that, let everybody go charge. And then there's something I'm not allowed to tell you what that is, but I tell you guys, the same thing I told everybody out there when you get in. Do not let any force of this earth stop you from being your secret with whatever that is. And then the thing too, we come back tomorrow, we'll look at graphics. That's a look at base building, which we first introduced last year's Citizencon, and the new crafting system. The crafting system that aims to dynamically change the face of all life as far as this. There's a reason it's making it to it's that. Then, yeah, there's a entry. It's replacing our general ship talk. George is saying yes. They're replacing our generic ship talk segment with a dedicated
This is the video. He was so popular that I couldn't stop for 45 minutes. So I'm
Thank you.
If you're an old school sci-fi head like me, this is what now that's enough for me. I'm gonna throw it down again, down to what's here? Yes, Barbara. Dan, are you there?
Well, that was Jared's take. Pretty much what everyone else is saying. He was still cagey about what was going to be in the social panel. I absolutely agree with him that the panel on 1.0 is going to be very important, not just in what they say is going to be part of 1.0, but what they say by implication is going to be part of 1.0. Because if you think about what is the specification of Star Citizen, the persistent universe, well, it was in a Kickstarter. It was in a bunch of 10 for the chairmen. It was in a bunch of Star Citizen Lives. It was in a bunch of little videos that Chris and Aaron Roberts did, and all that has never been really congealed into a single real statement. And it's 12 years on from the original Kickstarter. It's time to rephrase it, restate it, clarify it, say what is and isn't, because right now the persistent universe in large part is whatever you want it to be, because you can always find something from those early things that will justify your thoughts about what Star Citizen is. But there's equally going to be people that are going to be saying, whoa, what about that thing that was said here from the chairman? Or what about that thing that was said in Gamescom preservation? Or what, et cetera, because there's a lot of content. And there's a lot of people that have been heavily invested in each and every little thing that was said, and memories can be very long in game. So we should be seeing fairly soon. We saw how they've set up for doing Jared's presentation. A cute thing. As you see, trying to keep with the theme, they've built the community booth out of 40 TCU shipping containers, and I don't know what that is, metric, but and then they put a platform on top of it, and that's where Jared's been broadcasting from. I thought about trying to get the view from up there, but it's pretty clear why and how those are being limited. But Jared said we're running a little bit late, but we're expected pretty soon. So I think I could get into talking with individual booth members, but I think I will try to do that a little later. Save a little things. So I'll start to move sort of towards the exhibit hall, but stay here in the pre-area until just before the first actual presentation is going to start, and then I will switch. I'll sign off and then see you again at the end of that presentation. Clearly they're not yet ready to start the first actual presentation because they're still doing their
to make new friends. You guys are here for a shared love of Star Citizen. So if you want to make new friends, feel free to grab a seat. Ask people what their favorite ships are, their favorite ship manufacturer, their favorite new feature that may or may not have in mission council report. And you guys will make friends for life here at Citizencon, here at the Tower Lounge. And I know there's something that we haven't talked about. It's a pretty big thing. It's a pretty big deal. I know we've just been glossing over it. I think we finally should talk about it. I'm talking about, of course, the Addison Lounge. That's right, the Addison Lounge. If you are looking to sit down in comfort and style, the Addison Lounge is the place to go. We have our United Empire Earth Time.
He's not mentioning the fact that the Addison Lounge is only for the premium experience users.
Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show.
A little detail he missed.
I think that's it. I mean, Sam, I don't know who my co-host Sam is. Sam, hi Sam, I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing on the show floor, right? I don't think there's any major stuff I glossed over, nothing big or exciting that I didn't talk about, right?
I know the most big thing in the room is your ego, but other than that, there is one thing we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah, let's talk about the Hornet in the room, shall we? We have an amazing set piece here at Citizencon this year. It is massive. It is the biggest thing that I think we've ever had on the show floor here at Citizencon. It is absolutely impressive. It has some really great audio displays as well. If you guys were here earlier, I think Sam, while I go powder my nose and make sure that I'm picture perfect, why don't you head on over there and give the people more information about the biggest event set piece we have here at Citizencon. Let's check out exactly what we're talking about, shall we?
Happily, thanks, Dan. Let's go check this thing out. So, as you guys can see, we have a near life-size replica of the Hornet.
Roughly 2/3, I'm told.
Mark II. This thing was made for us.
And that's closer than any of the rest of us are going to be able to get to it.
14 weeks putting this together, from 6 weeks of concept, 8 weeks of build time.
And 6 days of beta testing. We got stuck in Ibacati for a while.
In the Manchester studio. Now, as you guys know, this is a medium fighter. So it packs a punch, but it's pretty quick. If you guys have flown the F-7Cs before, it's very simple.
I wonder if they're going to actually see a boost in sales on these.
If you guys haven't seen
Interesting to know.
the gatlin's on this thing, it's powerful. Well, yes, this is my now second favorite animation, dare I say. And, you know, I haven't got to drive my credit yet, have I? Let's just... Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location. It has been delivered right here to Manchester, 200 miles away from races by our amazing guys at Manchester. This thing was built with a huge steel spine structure. In the middle, steel platform that they use to build the top details. If you guys don't get the chance to see this in person, just look at everybody's social media for the next 5 years. I'm pretty sure this is going to be whatever it might be. So yeah, if you're at the event and you don't get a picture of this thing,
Jared's setting up for another segment with the
are we ready?
Hornet behind.
I think we're nearly ready for the first presentation. But before that, I'm going to hand you over to Jared. Jared, over to you.
Hi, Sam. Thanks, Sam. Look, there's Sam.
Oh.
And there's me. And there's Sam. There's me. Now, what Sam was far too humble to tell you is that she, as in her role in QA, has more flight hours on the Hornet than almost any person at CIG, which is why we gave her the wonderful introduction of the Hornet. So you might remember Sam from Citizencon 2019. She flew the carrot through the very first jump point to the very first visit at Pyro. So let's give Sam a round of applause, please. Into Hall A. Hall A is where the magic happens. It's where everybody needs to find their seat and get ready for the start of the show. So hey, if you're here in Hall B, let's all move over to Hall A. The sooner we all get there, the sooner we can start the show. And the less I have to hear for like this. Follow me.
Sorry. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. So this is the same as Hall A. Oh yeah.
Why can't it matter? Now do it.
Okay, let's see what seats are still available.
All gotta do this.
All right.
Most of the night today's one is really angry. How's that look? Alright. Come on, guys. Alright, let's get in the hallway. Everybody in the hallway. Everybody move in the hallway.
So we're hauling our A into Hall A.
Alright, thanks. We've got Big Benny's noodles, we've got torpedo burrito, we've got pips, and we've got pizza. Just pizza. Wow. There's a lot of you in here. This is the largest audience we've ever had for Citizencon. 4,200 people, plus a bunch of employees, plus a bunch of crew members, over 5,000 people in this room! Alright, well, hi Mom! Oh, you're streaming, what are you doing? Are you just recording? Okay, what are you doing? You doing the same thing? Right here, let me see. Thanks. Alright, so Citizencon, who are you? Martin? Where are you from, Martin? Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. I don't remember most of it though. Do you? Must be different for visitors. Different priorities. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on stream. Whose phone was this? There you go. There you go. All right. Let's go. How much time do we got? Hold on, I gotta put my headset on. How much time do I need to do this for? Where's Chris Roberts? Chris Roberts is here. Does he have his mic on? Okay. Are you sure? I mean, if that's what he wants. I apologize. You ready? I think I legitimately pulled a hammy. Oh, that thing is rock hard right now. Oh, you're tearing my shoes. Yeah. Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael. Yeah, all right, so that's all I got, everybody. We're gonna take a few short minutes. We're gonna start the show. Chris Roberts is gonna kick this thing off proper, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're gonna love the show, everybody. Thanks.
2020 hindsight, I should have got a seat along the row. Anyhow, looking forward to this. I hope you are too. And I'll see you again after the end of this presentation. We'll do another quick live stream. So I'm going to basically turn it over to the official stream of the actual panels itself. It's relatively unnecessary to become streaming on my phone. This. Yeah, fly safe, keep it real. I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Ray with the Rays Guy.